I'm happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by a familiar face who's been with us before. Jack Burnett from the Old Farmer's Almanac is joining us. And Jack, thanks for speaking with us again.
Stacey, it's always a pleasure to be with you and your viewers. You're in a great part of the continent, believe me.
Well, Jack, we want to talk about some of the things that have been happening weather-wise, because that is one of the specialties of the Almanac, is predicting the forecast. Heading into the fall, we haven't had, especially for farmers in our province, two provinces, Saskatchewan and Alberta, hasn't been great for a lot of them. Can we expect precipitation coming soon, and what can we expect heading into the fall?
Well, what we see as far as precipitation goes, unfortunately, is kind of more of the same until we get deeper into the fall. We look at the temperatures to be near or above normal, and the precipitation in Alberta and Saskatchewan to be near or slightly below normal, unfortunately. So that's the nature of what we do. As you know, Stacey, and I think many of your viewers too, we use an ancient method, really, combined with modern science to come up with our forecasts. And sometimes they're not really what we'd like them to be, but we always give people the truth. We don't try to fudge things to make them sound better.
So how accurate, Jack, have you guys been with predictions? Is that something that you guys keep track of as well for the forecast?
Yeah, we keep track of that very carefully, actually. We spend a fair amount of time and money, actually, tracking how accurate we were in about like something like 15,000 different places throughout the US and Canada. Over the years, we've been about 80%, sometimes less than that, sometimes more. This past year, we were a little bit less. I think we were around like 75, something like that. I don't have that right in front of me. But it all averages out. We've been running some experiments over the past 4 years in tweaking our formula to account for climate change. So we think we have that figured out. We think we're going to continue to be along that same accuracy line. But it's a funny world, and we're right in the middle of it.
Now, this year has really been kind of a different year for us here. I would say an odd year temperature-wise. We don't usually have heat for this extended period of time. We'll get a few really super hot days, but we've had weeks that have been, in a couple cases, close to 40 degrees Celsius. So would you consider this an odd year, or is this just a sign of how things are going to be weather-wise going forward?
Well, it's difficult to say. I think to say whether it's an odd year, we won't know until next year and the year after, will we? But I think it's fairly clear to say that things are changing. One of the things that it's easy to do inland, in the prairies, is to forget that a lot of the weather is driven by the oceans, not just the Pacific in your case, but also the Arctic Ocean. So we hear a lot about that. But so snow cover, reflection, the warming and cooling of the currents and so on, those are all affected by climate change. And how they happen to combine, it's funny. It used to be that, and it still is, that things would kind of go in a low roller coaster. But now when things combine, sometimes it's like all hot or all rain, So the side of the curve is getting higher peaks and valleys. So is it a one of a kind? I doubt it's a one of a kind. But then again, I doubt that in the near future it's going to be really as extreme as it has been.
Now, I know that we can't talk about the winter forecast yet because you guys are keeping that under wraps with the next Farmer's Almanac that is coming out. So we discussed this a little bit earlier. This is coming out, I guess, in a few weeks here now. Tell me about what's in the 2022 Almanac.
Yeah, the 2022 Old Farmer's Almanac Canadian edition. And I was telling you, you have a scoop because your viewers, I think, are going to be the first ones in Canada to actually lay eyes on it. So there
Excellent.
it is. It just came off the press about 3 days ago. It has a lot of the usual things that you see. We have an article, for example, called Beyond the Boards, which is about the background of the 1972 Canada-Soviet Hockey Summit. We have an article called Remains to be Seen, which is about mausoleums and people who have had themselves preserved and other things, which you would think is kind of, morbid, but it's really fascinating. The different things that people do. We have an article that uses a term in US courts. When they swear people in, they say, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So we have an article called The Tooth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Tooth, which is about your teeth. We have other ones. We have lots of food articles. We have our gardening articles, of course, as we always do. We have a big article about the Trans-Canada Highway. A lot of people think that the Canadian edition is just a US edition with a Canadian cover, but that's not true. It's different. In fact, the Almanac is celebrating its 230th anniversary this year, but Canada, our special edition, is celebrating its 40th. So we always have a lot of things like that. We have our essay winners. By the way, one of the winners is from Medicine Hat. Another winner is from Regina. So
excellent.
Prairies did great this year. The topic was a kindness I will never forget, and it was probably the most popular essay contest that the Old Farmers Almanac has ever had. We got many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entries, so it's very hard to choose. So congratulations to those winners. And I think that tells us that, with all the crazy things that are going on, there's still a lot of kindness out there going on. So that's all. That's the thing about the Old Farmers Almanac. We're safe, we're reliable, we're funny. We provide, as our founder said, new, useful, and humorous information. That's one of the things that I think has always left your viewers, I think, with a good impression of us, and we're very grateful for that.
Well, and that is the one thing, Jack, about the Almanac, is the fact that it is more than just weather forecasts. It's so interesting to look through all the pages and go over what we just discussed here as some of the topics, and you said the essays and so much more. So if people are looking to purchase a copy, Jack, when in Canada can they place their order and expect to receive it?
Well, it should be out in places where you buy books and magazines. We always try to encourage people to buy locally. If you can support local bookstores, hardware stores, drugstores, big box stores, whatever, please do. If you can't, the best way to get it is on Amazon. That's the fastest way. It's the cheapest shipping. So that's what we recommend people do. So they can actually go, I believe, and pre-order it now. If they don't have to worry about, remembering it, they can just go to Amazon.ca and pre-order it, and they should be all set.
Well, Jack, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much again for talking to us. And I'll hit you up again right before winter so we can find out what we're going to see precipitation wise and how much snowfall we'll be seeing here for the winter. So I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Stacy, let's do that. Thank you.